set of videos, we'll introduce the Family Media Plan. Creating a family media plan is one of our favorite ways to manage home media use, because a family media plan is a process that helps you think about your goals, values, and priorities, as well as your rules around technology. Every family has different rules and habits for media use. Your family media plan will be totally unique to your own family's goals and needs. The plan can regularly be changed and updated when things change or for special times like summer or holiday breaks. Make sure to have your copy of Creating Your Family Media Plan PDF before watching the next video so you can follow along. Setting up your family media plan. A family media plan is a helpful way to include the whole family in setting rules and goals. It's also a useful exercise in talking about media with your kids before the media use actually happens. We'll take you step by step through creating your own media plan. So before you start, think about the people who live in your home. The media plan is for all family members, including parents and children. You can go through the steps for each family member to create a plan that covers all areas of home media use. Next, think about what matters most to you about your family's screen time. Let's look at the media plan and the options for different priorities. You can focus on balancing on and off screen activities, setting media time limits, having open communication about media, creating screen-free times and zones, choosing high-quality content, or using media together as a family. Start by choosing 2 priorities that matter most to you. You can always come back to this media plan and add more later. Let's walk through some of these priorities you could choose to focus on and think through the ways you could implement them in your house. So the first option for a priority you could choose to focus on is balancing on and off screen activities. This is an important part of healthy media use for kids. You already know that too much media use isn't good for kids. So when planning screen time, it's important to think about your child's day. Make sure they have enough time for face-to-face interaction, indoor and outdoor playtime, and rest. Fill their day with more play than media. And avoid using media as a first option for calming your child down. Try things like a calm down corner or feelings chart to help your child handle big emotions rather than just turning to media. For parents, this can look like deleting apps that may be distracting from your phone and focusing on being present when you're with your children. If you look at the sheet, some of the options that we just went over are things like planning your day, avoiding using media as a first option for emotion regulation, and deleting distracting apps from your own phone. If you choose to focus on balancing on and off screen activities, you can come back to this page and write out the way your family plans to implement this. The second priority that you could choose to set is setting media time limits. Another thing you could focus on is turning devices off when they're not actively being used. Turn off the TV when no one is watching. Also, focus on your own balance of screen time versus real life, and try using your device's built-in screen time limits to help you stick to your goals. This can be much easier said than done when we use our phones for so many things. Also, just a reminder that having TV on in the background is one of the main ways that kids are exposed to non-kids content. Uninterrupted playtime and parent-child interactions are both so important, so turn off that TV when no one is actively watching it. This is probably our easiest tip to try with the biggest impact on you and your child. It is your job as the parent to create, hold, and explain the rules, but this does not mean that your child will be happy about it. We can give you tips to hopefully help reduce the screen time struggles, but no matter what, ending screen time can be hard for little ones. In the same way that children can get upset when it's time to leave the park, Media time is fun and exciting, and it's hard to switch away from a fun activity. Sometimes it can feel easier to just press play on another episode when your child is crying that screen time is over. But we'll give you some helpful ideas and scripts for sticking to your rules in our Holding Tech Boundaries PDF. One of our favorite ideas is to have some off-ramp activities or some sort of special playtime that helps your child transition from media into the real world. Let's take a look at the media plan. So if you choose to prioritize setting media time limits, this can look like turning off or putting away devices when they're not actively in use, teaching your child about the healthy amount of screen time for them. One tip we like to try is using a visual timer so kids can see when their screen time is ending. Also, setting clear boundaries around screen time and setting up some of those off-ramp activities or helping your child know what they're able to do when screen time is over. Another tip that we like to try is something called TV tokens or game tokens, where your child has a set number of tokens each week and can trade them in for an agreed upon number of episodes or time using an app. If you choose to focus on setting media time limits as one of your priorities, come back to this page and think through some ways you might want to implement this strategy in your home. The next priority you could choose to focus on is having open communication with your kids about media more often. So the first step here is to let go of any uncomfortable feelings you have around media use. Because when parents feel guilty about their children's screen time, they talk about screens less. But it's a huge help to your kids if you have regular conversations about their screen time. When you have the confidence to use screens with purpose, media conversations can be really valuable to your family. It's important that your child feels comfortable discussing media with you so that they'll let you know if they see something shocking, upsetting, or scary, so you can help them feel better. You can always refer back to our What's Scary for Kids PDF for more info. You can also talk to your child about how media makes them feel in general. How does their body feel when they finish watching an episode or playing a game? What feelings do they have when screen time starts and ends? These conversations are important for helping your child build media awareness. They also help your child gain a greater sense of self-awareness around how the things they do affect how they feel. It can be a great habit for yourself as well to think about how you feel during your own screen use. Part of talking to your kids about media is helping them understand your rules. Setting and holding boundaries or rules around technology is hard, but it's so much easier to enforce the rules when you plan ahead. Rules can include things like when and how much time your kids are allowed to use tech, and doing your best to keep devices turned off and out of sight when it's not time to use them. Let's take a look at the sheet. Like we mentioned, regularly talking about screen media is important. Make a habit of talking to your kids about screens, especially if you weren't with them when they used the media. If you find out that your child saw something scary or violent, act as soon as possible. Have a plan for how you will talk to them about this. And when you're using screens and your child is present, try to explain to them what you're doing, because kids often don't understand what we're doing on our devices for day-to-day tasks. It can be something as simple as, hey, I'm writing an email to Nana to let her know you won your soccer game. Little explanations like that go a long way in helping kids understand healthy tech boundaries. And a final way you can think about having open communication about media is talking to your kids about what ads look like and how to critically think about ads on screen. If you choose to focus on having open communication about media, you can come back to this page and determine how you'll do it for your own family. The next priority you could choose to focus on is creating screen-free times and areas. If you choose to try this out in your family, first, think about where technology currently exists in your home. Do you have a TV in the living room? Where do you keep the remote? Do you have an area where everyone plugs in their devices to charge at night? Some important screen-free times and places to think about are not having devices in the kitchen or at mealtime, no devices in the bedroom, not allowing screen use at night, and only using media in the car for special times like road trips. And this means parents too, no texting and driving. It can also be a good idea to have screen okay days in the week. For example, it's okay to watch TV on Monday through Friday after school and on Saturday morning. Try to implement one screen-free day each week where you prioritize a family activity instead. For example, on Sundays, we turn off the screen and play a game together. Other things to think about are not using screens first thing in the morning or as the last thing at night, only using one screen at a time, and utilizing do not disturb features on phones to have fewer notifications. Let's take a look at the sheet. So, if you choose to focus on creating screen-free times and zones, some examples of things you can do are try your best to remove screens from mealtime, separate media from sleep, and really try to take those devices out of the bedroom. Have at least 1 hour of screen-free time before bed. Try to keep screens out of the car when possible, and aim for one screen-free day each week. If you choose to prioritize creating screen-free times and zones, you can come back to this page and read a little bit more about our tips to decide what will work best for you and your family. Another priority option is choosing high-quality content. If you choose to focus on using high-quality shows and apps, we recommend using our video and app checklists to help you think of the type of media you're okay with your child using. You can offer them creative, friendly, positive, and educational media options. Try to review new media before your child sees it, especially if it's an app or game that has multiple features or levels. Let's take a look at the family media plan. If you choose to focus on high quality content, use our media checklists as a guide. If you're looking for new educational media, you can try choosing a topic like reading or math and look for shows that encourage this. But keep in mind that a show doesn't have to specifically be educational to promote learning. Make an effort to review all new shows, movies, and apps that your child uses. And you could think about avoiding scary, violent, mean, or adult-directed media for your child. If this is what you choose to prioritize, you can come back to this when we're finished, think through our ideas, and write out for yourself how your family will focus on this. The last priority that you could think about is using media together. If you choose to focus on using media together, there are a few ways you can make it fun for the whole family. One of our recommendations is to have a family movie night, which is both a time to be together and an opportunity to practice talking about media. Some of my favorite memories growing up are when we would go to Blockbuster Video on a Friday night, pick out a family movie, and enjoy watching it together. Obviously, that's not how movie night necessarily works anymore, but the point is that you can still use media as a way to create special memories with your family. Another way to do this is to choose a time each day where you and your child will watch a video or play a game together and talk about what you saw and learned. So if you choose to prioritize using media together as a family, one way to do this is to make sure that your child's media time isn't all alone. In the same way that you would sit down with your kiddo and read them a book, you can co-use media with them sometimes by watching or playing together and discussing what's going on. Another example, like I talked about, is making media time a family tradition. Try having a monthly movie or game night for everyone to use media together as a shared experience. Or you can choose to have a regular time when you plan to co-use media together with your child, even if it's just watching a short video. Another thing we like to recommend is try creating media with your child. Kids love to take photos and videos of their world. So you can give your kiddos the chance to practice their media skills by creating a short video together on your phone. This can also help them connect what they see on screen to their real life. As with the other pages, these aren't all things that you need to do. They're just some ideas for how you could choose to set this priority in your family. When you've finished thinking about what you want to focus on, you can flip to the next page, which is the daily scheduling worksheet. We also used this in an earlier lesson, but you can see if your schedules have changed at all with what you know now. Think of this like a time budget. How much time do you plan to offer media on the weekdays and weekends? When will you schedule playtime for your child to make sure they spend some time on activities that are important for their development? Do you have a plan of what types of media you want your child to use at set times of the day or of the week? This is a blank slate for you to design how to make media work for your family. Take a few minutes now and create your family media plan. After you finish, share it with the other parents in your group to see how you create a unique media experience for your kids.